inside another dimension, face battling barbarians and evil magic on a quest for adventure in a maze of monsters. Once you get into it, you'll never be the same. Hero Qust. Now, with 2 new adventure packs, the legend grows.
Hi, welcome back to Not Your Mother's Hobbies. Today we're going to look at the new undead type in Jungles of Delthrak. This is the Skullblight. Quite a little big boy here, but luckily he's got not a lot going on for as cool as he looks. Only a couple colors, so it shouldn't be too hard to get into. Lots of earthy tones, browns, a little bit of green here, and some hot spots here and there for some details. So let's get into it. We're going to start things off with Wildwood, and this is going to cover the majority of the miniature, going over all of the roots and vines that are found all over this guy's body. We're also going to go over the little mossy bits on his, or their, scully, bony, undead beard. Just these little mossy bits on the tendril beard. And just go all around and hit all of the roots and stems and woody bits with this color, and that's going to make up the most of our miniature. Then we're going to go back in with Wraithbone and just touch a whole lot up. So you can see here I'm touching up in between those big claw fingers, right? There's a lot of weird earthy wrappings around them. So we're just going around touching up those, as well as maybe some spots in between the roots on the face and I guess the tendril hair and whatnot, just going all around there. We have Gorgunta fur. We're going to use this warm orangey brown for our leaves, and it's going to give a cool autumn feel. You could just as easily swap this out for a more lively green, maybe orc flesh or something brighter, more saturated looking, and that'll give it just another kind of look for what's going on. Maybe swampy, maybe springtime. You could even go crazy and do pinks and reds and stuff and make it look kind of fairy. We have Skeleton Horde here. We're going to put this over all of the bony bits and all the undead bits. So that'll be all the claws, this big hand he's got going on, and this skull creeping out. And don't forget on the back, he's got a spine, like a spinal cord shooting out the back of his root system. There it is right there. So just go all around and pick out those bone parts. We have Mantis Warrior Greens for that big dread crystal shooting out of his shoulder here. As well as on the elbow, and a little piece on the back. And if you wanted these crystals brighter, you could base coat it with a white before this step. And with that, we're already on to the layering. We're going to start off with Wraithbone, just going back over those bone parts and putting our first highlight on there. Just going over and adding some extra mid-tone highlight detail on all those bony skeletal bits popping out. This warm white will help everything stand out against that brown, dark fall palette that we got going on. Then for some added depth on those root parts, on all the root systems, we're going to go in with a dry brush of Longbeard Gray or any cool gray you got. We're going to go over basically the entire miniature. We're going to go over this, but mainly this is to bring up some contrast into those root systems. It's also going to look quite nice on the leaves, bringing out lots of details there. We're going to use Agrax Earthshade just to deepen in those recesses once more and keep the dry brushed highlight that we just put in there. So it's just going to make everything extra contrasty. We're coming in with Warpstone Glow. We're just going to put this right over top, stippling on that mossy area underneath the skull and above those roots that make up his beard. Right, for our extra touches, we're going to continue with that beardy moss and just hit it with some moot green, continuing to just stipple in some highlight details in there and break it up, add some interest on that mossy, tendril, rooty beard. Then we're going to give a dry brush of a bold titanium white. This is going to go over top of those dread crystals, those green crystals, and really pick up those edges, brighten them up, make them look very shiny and sharp, and just really make them stand out. And if you want even more details, you can go in with a brush and do some extra edge highlighting and picking out some top tip corners and whatnot to really stand out against the rest of the model. Then we base it like normal. That's right, we're already on the basing. So that is a gray paint, texture paint, dry brush, a wash, and a dry brush. And there you have it. We have our Skullblight all painted up. Looking pretty good, if I don't say so myself. I really like the two different greens. This kind of toxic green for the crystals, the dread crystals, and then the kind of more lively moss green going on that beard. The leaves are really cool, picking up just a couple easy highlights with that dry brush to just make them stand out against the root system. Even the root system, you know, even though it gets a little lost in the sauce with how much there is going on, I think we picked up enough of those details with that dry brush and shade. Everything, all in all, looking pretty good. If you did want to do some different versions of this, easily you could just swap out different crystal colors. I didn't do that. I think the dread crystal is green, and I'm going to stick with that green. If you liked what you saw in this video, feel free to give a like. Let me know in the comments down below what you're painting, what you're currently working on, if you've started Jungles of Delthrak already. As always, big shout out to the patron supporters. Thank you to everybody who watches and who these tutorials help out a bunch. You guys are awesome. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.